and gentlemen, the American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. And don't forget that if you're on our email list, you're going to receive Saturday morning or today the Eric Deters News, which is a comprehensive 1 or 2 sentence line summary of all the news in Kentucky, Ohio, and Southeast Indiana all over the past week. It's pretty impressive. If you read this every Saturday morning, you won't need any other news. Now let's get to our top story. Tucker is contemplating hosting a debate. Wouldn't that be great? Let Tucker host a debate. Why should we have Fox News? Did you hear what they're advocating? They're advocating like 10 debates. Well, you know why? Revenue. I hope Tucker does it. Brennan and Clapper, these two clowns, who've already lied under oath to Congress, are apparently going to testify before the Weaponization Committee, the new committee. And I think that Thomas Massey is actually the chairman of it. And the issue will be, I guess, the letter that they helped write and craft, claiming it was all Russian disinformation, which we know now is a complete scam. E. Jean Carroll's trial's wrapping up. Trump testified by video. He didn't testify live, where he basically called her a complete lying fool. I got to ask you a question. When this allegedly happened, Trump was in his heyday. I mean, just really, Trump raping a woman. It's the biggest farce in the world. In a department store. Burger King shutting down hundreds of locations. It's not looking good for Burger King. By the way, I'll use this as an anecdote. The Burger King next to Chick-fil-A down there in Fort Wright and Covington, nobody is ever there. They're not competing with Wendy's, and Arby's has come back a little bit. Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, they're just not there. Even McDonald's. Ed Sheeran won his trial. You know how he won? They put him on the stand, gave him his guitar, and said, "Here, how'd you make this song?" Pretty good evidence. Jordan NEELY. Jordan NEELY is the person who died from a Marine given a headlock. The guy was apparently mentally unstable, was going nuts at a New York subway, and this Marine gave him a chokehold, and others helped out, and the guy ended up dying. You know, facts matter. Was this a Marine that was genuinely helping, thinking he was helping out, or, and I'm assuming that is, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, that this was a Marine that generally was trying to help, and this was an awful thing. You know, watch, Bragg will prosecute this guy. He'll prosecute this guy. White guy chokeholding a black guy. Well, we're going to prosecute that. Anybody else that commits a crime in New York gets away with it. Or was it an over-aggressive person? I don't know. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. James Comer says he's got the goods. He got the goods. About a week ago, he said it'll be a couple weeks. They're going to do a big press conference. I look forward to the press conference. By the way, one thing I have to point out, I know you're going to agree with me. How come nobody ever keeps a copy of a letter or a video or stuff that ends up in the hands of someplace? We have to get it. Like, didn't the person who sent this letter to the FBI and Justice Department have a copy of it? I mean, doesn't it drive you crazy? It's like everything that's on Hunter's laptop. Well, let's see it. I mean, I can tell you right now, if you ever want something exposed, send it to me, and you want it exposed, I will expose it. It cracks me up. Title 42, 700,000 illegal immigrants are ready to storm into this country. It's sick. Sick. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., is bashing Biden on the border. You're going to bash him on the vax? This is going to be great. Because let's face it, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is a liberal, but he's obviously loves his country. I call him the old Jimmy Carter type liberals. My wife happens to be one of them. They love the country. They just get misguided on some things. This guy right here is going to give Biden fits. Fits. Do you ignore a RFK Jr. in a Democratic primary? I don't think so. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Coming up next, Bulldog TV local news. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jerry Bulldog Nation, welcome to Bulldog TV Local News. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting Company, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. And our lead story is I resolved the Kelly Craft lawsuit. Let me explain how it got resolved. It didn't get thrown out by a judge. They filed a motion to dismiss the case. 2 nights ago, I went home and read what they filed along with all the attachments. She signed an affidavit saying she has a Kentucky driver's license, has always had a Kentucky driver's license, that Kentucky's always been her home. Now, there's 3 things I want to point out. Number 1, based upon what they submitted, there was no way I was going to win that case. No way. 4 things. No way I was going to win that case. So therefore, we entered into an agreed order, and the agreed order actually says that based upon what they produced in my review of that, I'm conceding her residency requirement. And you know what? This is good for the Republican Party. She's not going to win the primary, but God forbid that she does. At least the Republicans know that they've got a candidate that has a court order saying that she meets the residency requirement. Now, let me tell you a couple other things about it. She actually says, but first I just want to let you know, I couldn't prove it. Doesn't mean I believe her, because I don't believe her. You know what she actually put in this affidavit and what she filed? She actually said that she's only been to that Tulsa, Oklahoma mansion a few times since 2016. Now, I want to tell you something. Joe Kraft's company is based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Alliance Resources. He's got a gigantic mansion in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's where his jet's also registered. There is no way in hell. By the way, he has lived there, obviously. He just got registered to vote this year in Kentucky. Just think about this. He's always voting. So you know he's using that place. He doesn't have that place if he's not using it. So Kelly Craft has only been there a few times since 2016. It tells me, A, she's freaking lying, which I believe she's freaking lying, or 2, they're living separate and apart, which is, by the way, I'm not judging it. It's okay. I don't judge things that are in people's marriages, but it's clear that they're living separate and apart, because how do you marry to somebody since 2016? His main home is in Oklahoma. And she acknowledged that. This is his home. Her home's in Kentucky. Weird. But I don't believe her. I think she's there. Law and crime. Top story, Melissa Powers. I just find this interesting, and this is off the radar, but I want to just share with you. Melissa Powers, yes, this beautiful woman here, is the current Hamilton County prosecutor. She was chosen by the Republicans to replace Joe Deters. I want you to know that I support her 100%. She's smart. She's articulate. She's going to be impossible to beat. Why? Because she's a woman. She's smart. She's done a great job. And she's beautiful. Take all of it. And she's going to be well-funded. I'll get to that in a second, which is the purpose of this video. But I got to try a case in front of her. Was just so great, so nice. I actually brought up the issue. I said, Judge, I'm going to ask the elephant in the room here when we were all back in chambers talking. I said, you are obviously beautiful beyond. I said, how does that work in your career? And she says it's been a positive and a negative. You know, positive, negative. She works with veterans. She had like a veterans thing that she did. She's well-loved, well-liked, well-respected. And she's got a good heart and a good person. The Republicans in Hamilton County chose well to pick her. Remember, I told her, I predicted it, and I said the reason why is she can't be beat. But listen to this. She's having a reception at the Queen City Club on May 17th, all right? Now, the co-chairs give $25,000 or raise it. She has about over 10 co-chairs, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are named Lindner. 5 of them are named Lindner. Then she's got sponsors, 3 of them. They're supposed to raise $12,500. Patrons, $10,000. Hosts, benefactors, advocates. It's unbelievable. My guess is she will break the record that Joe Deters set when he had his fundraiser, when he brought in Portman and DeWine and had a fundraiser at Dinsmore and Shoal. I think he raised almost $500,000. Just on the face of this, I don't know how she doesn't raise that. I mean, anybody and everybody in Republican circles with money is a co-chair, sponsor, patron, host, benefactor, advocates. I've never heard this before, guarantors. But that's off the radar in the news, and I got one of these invitations, so I just wanted to share with that. Melissa Powell, by the way, she claimed to fame. She was Joe Deters' assistant in the not Paul Harvey, I always say Paul Harvey, the Harvey serial killer case. All right, more long crime. This week, German Matthews was arrested for dragging a woman in the woods near Forest Park and raping her. Immigration officials have said Matthews had been removed from the country 5 times with illegal entries. Matthews is originally from Nicaragua and illegal entered the U.S. for the first time in 2005. In local news, Cincinnati police are asking for help locating 28-year-old woman from College Hill. Emily Mullins has been missing since Wednesday night when she left to go to her downtown office. A new development is coming to Fort Mitchell on the former side of the Drawbridge Inn. That's right, my Uncle Jerry's place. The mixed-use construction will consist of offices, commercial, and residential space. The Drawbridge Inn and Convention Center closed their doors back in 2012. Kentucky State news. Lobbyists have spent a record amount of money for Kentucky's 2023 legislative session. Special intergroup spent over $9.3 million, topping the previous record of $8.5 million last year. The majority of the money went to battle gambling issues within the state. A recent report examines what U.S. states have the worst drug problems, and it's not kind to Kentucky. The report bases its ranking on things like drug arrests, overdose rates, and drug testing laws. Kentucky ranked 5th worst in overdose deaths per capita and 5th worst in opiate prescriptions per 100 people. In Ohio State news, the Ohio Senate is still a battleground over changes to constitutional amendments procedures. Republicans won a special election in August to change the amendment approval percentage to 60 to 50%. Hundreds of protesters gathered near the State House this week to voice their displeasure with the potential change. And we got lots in sports today. The Flying Pig Marathon will take place downtown this Sunday. Officials announced a new policy saying full marathon runners must be at least 18 years old. Kentucky Oaks is today. Let's kick off the Derby weekend. Races begin at 10:30 a.m. And then tomorrow, Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby. The track's currently under investigation as 4 horses in separate incidents have died in 6 days. Trainer Seffi Joseph Jr. has been suspended after the death of 2 horses. Coming up next, Jamie Spinley and World News. I wonder if he's going to talk about Charles's coronation. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.
Hello, Bulldog Nation. The latest world headlines. China has accused Canada of slander and defamation. It is to believe that Beijing targeted a member of its parliament and his family. During the summit meeting yesterday in the Turkish capital, a Russian and Ukrainian delegate got into a fight over the Ukrainian flag. Another shooting in Serbia. A man has been arrested after 8 died and 14 were injured. 600 police officers were involved in the manhunt. The coronation will take place tomorrow, 8 months on from his automatic appointment as king on September the 8th last year. The royal procession will set off from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Until Monday, take care, and as always, thank you for watching Bulldog TV World News.